All right, so I made a decision a little while ago that I'm going to start transitioning from doing my regular job, which is grip electric, gaffer, key grip, to doing and producing my own commercials. Now, the way that I ended up deciding to do this was because I wasn't fucking happy. Right, so I love the people I work with, I love the companies that I get to work with and everything, but at the end of the day, what I'm contributing and what I'm putting out into the world doesn't align with what I'm getting back from it, right? So what I'm getting from it is the money, and that's great and that's helpful and everything, and I've finally built myself up to be able to have a decent reputation around Chicago and be able to get on like a couple jobs a week. And that's really, really good because I didn't have that for the first couple years. My wife and I got married in Chicago. We moved to Phoenix for a minute, and then we moved to Los Angeles, the outskirts of Los Angeles, and then we moved into Los Angeles. And then after that, we moved to Hawaii, and we were in Maui for about a year and a half. And some things went down back home. We came back home to be here with our family and kind of go through that with them. Now that I'm in Chicago, what do? Well, the best thing I could think of was get a job at some company that does rentals, right? And so that's what I did. I worked at Camera Ambassador, and then, I got to know some people, but more importantly, I got to know gear that I hadn't really been working with. I got to know the lighting. I got to know a lot of different stuff that I hadn't really worked with in Los Angeles. In Maui a little bit, did a bunch of but some action sports stuff out there and all, but I didn't spend a lot of time working in studio type of thing. I would work with generally ARRI cameras, generally RED cameras, but Sony FS5, FS7, didn't really know anything about them really. So I came back here, I had a lot to learn. I went through that, I got that stuff down, made some connections, and I started freelancing. I guess it's been about 2.5 years now. Oh no, we're coming up on 3 years now. And the first year was really, really rough. The second year was still pretty rough. In the winters, it gets cold out here and people don't want to go out and shoot. I don't know what happens to the video market here, but it dies. I had to find a different way to be able to supplement income. So I'd drive for Uber Eats or I'd do something else, but I always wanted to stay being a freelancer. That's what I loved doing. Loved being able to say no to jobs. Being able to say no to some things, being able to say yes to the things I really like doing, that really appealed to me a lot because I got to be my own boss. Now, though, I've been gripping and being electric, being gaffer, being key grip, and swinging to AC and some camera operating, but not a lot, for the last 3 years that I've been here. And I'm ready to make a change. I want something to be different. And what I'm realizing is that it's not just gonna happen. I need to do something to make it happen. So here's what I decided to do. Now that I've gotten all of that stuff out of the way and I've caught you up to the speed of where I'm at right now, the question is, how do you end up becoming a commercial or feature film director or whatever? There's all these avenues, right? I mean, you can go to school. I went to school for photography for 3 months, and then I was like, you're not getting any more of my money. And I decided to keep it for myself. And I just went up and down the East Coast and I made a bunch of different documentaries before the 5D revolution happened. All right, this was back in like 2009, 8, somewhere around there. And we just made a bunch of documentaries, me and 2 friends, and then did nothing. I finally got them all edited. By the time I finished editing them, a bunch of the bands had already broken up. And so it was like, okay, what did I do all of this for? Granted, I got a lot of experience, I got some good memories out of it, but I didn't get what I really needed out of it. And what I really needed out of it was work, right? So we flash forward to where we're at right now. Now I'm going back to doing the exact same thing with a little bit of a twist, right? Because now I have the information that I didn't have before. I'm not trying to figure it out. I know what I have to do. So basically what I'm doing is I've made a list of 5 different companies, really their genres, and I'm going to be making a commercial and then pitching it to those companies. If they want to buy it, cool, and if they don't want to and they want to reshoot it and they say, hey, we like what you did, but we'd like to do something like this, then we can reshoot it, and then I can end up being the DP or director for that. I'd prefer DP, but if sometimes clients will end up telling you, oh, I want you to direct this. It's like, that's not really what I do, but it's the job, and I would take that over some sort of G&E job, especially when it's something that I've written, I've already planned it out, I've already storyboarded it, I've already got the shot list down for it and everything. This is kind of my baby, and I would like to be able to work on it like it is. So first one up, here it is. There's a company that's designed an app that helps you to be able to get out and get onto private land and to be able to use private land as if it was public. It's a lot like Airbnb, except a lot of times they don't have, places for you to stay or anything like that. It's like show up with your tent or your backpack or whatever, and you're gonna go off and do your own thing for however long you rented the land out for. It's Airbnb, but for private land. So I'm going after this company in particular. So this is the one that separates itself from all the others. The other ones, I'm gonna do a commercial for a couple bike shops around town, rock climbing gyms, a few other things that are going on too, and I'll talk about those later on. Now, I don't know how this is gonna work out, right? I don't know if this is actually going to be able to sell, but I'm gonna put my all into it and see what happens. And I figured one of the best things that I could do is document this process throughout its entirety. So here we go. This PDF or this Excel spreadsheet that's popping up right now, this is a list of my shots that I want to get for this company. I blocked out the name, being pretty open with everything, but I don't want to say like, this is a company I'm going after, because I want to come to them and say, hey, this is what I've created, and I want to be able to have an element of surprise when I bring it to them, and I want them to be kind of caught off guard and really excited about it after they see it. So I'm blocking out the company name, but you can see everything else. So basically, I'm shooting this thing in the city, and I'm shooting it out in nature. And now I'm going to use the two shots of this individual as I juxtapose life in the city and life in nature, and really getting the benefits out of why is it important to get out into nature. So I wrote this commercial. I'm actually kind of decent at writing and kind of pretty decent at interviewing too. So I kind of sat down and interviewed myself almost as if I'm the CEO of this company, and I went over their website, I got down a list of all the things that seemed to be really, really important to them, and then I just interviewed myself with that. And then after I had all those things written down, I decided, you know what? That doesn't really work. So scrap that. And then I just wrote a voiceover. That's all I did. I just wrote a voiceover. Now, what is going into this? Like how much budget, like what do you have? What's the gear you're using? What's the lighting equipment? What's the grip truck look like? Fucking nothing. Here's the gear list, ready? GH5S, the Rode Filmmaker Lav that I'm wearing right now. I have a 504 Manfrotto fluid head tripod. I have a Ronin M Mavic Air. That's pretty much it. That's mostly all I'm using on this. I am thinking that I'm gonna buy that Ninja V, but for the most part, that's my gear package, right? And so I need to be able to use these things to be able to make it work. So another thing that I do is I love archery. I'm huge into archery. So that's one of the reasons that this company appeals to me so much, is because I could go out and do archery or go camping or backpacking, all things that I love to do. Now, if I'm doing some sort of liquor commercial, well, I don't care about liquor and drinking all that much, and it doesn't really speak to me and fulfill me as an individual. So what do? I say, what does fulfill me as an individual? What am I really interested in? What excites me? And now I'm gonna go make a commercial about that. Even if these don't sell, even if I'm not able to get, and this first one is difficult too, right? Because I'm going after one company in particular. The next ones that I have, there are a ton of different companies that I could go after, but none of them have to say yes. Or well, not all of them have to say yes, right? Just one of them has to say yes, we're interested, we want to buy it. The way I did this was I wrote down voiceovers and I planned out shot lists that I identified with in their product or in their services. So this first one's different because I'm just going after this one company. So I'm turning the pressure up on myself for this first one quite a bit. But I think that I have something listed out here that I'm gonna be able to use. Now, one of the things that I did was I went to a resale shop and I just got a big picture frame. It's sitting right here, check it out. Here it is, big picture frame, all right? And I didn't put anything in it, right? So I didn't add in an image or anything like that. I just got a dry erase marker and ended up writing everything out on it. Now, basically up here is, these are the 5 things, or the 4 things that I'm doing right now. And then there's the 4 other things that I want to work towards. In drawing them out, I was able to say, okay, well, this is the path I have to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I know the path that I have to take in order to get me to where I want to be, because I reverse engineered it, right? I looked at the end and was like, what do I have to do to be able to do this? Okay, well, I got to do this thing. All right, what do I got to do to be able to do this? Well, I got to do this thing. And I just took it step by step by step all the way back. And along the way, these are all things that I want to do anyway. FPV drone? Hell yes, I definitely want to fly those. I definitely want to work on those. But that's not going to really get me to be to the end goal as much as working on these stock commercial videos. So this is what I'm working on. Here's an image of the shot list that I drew up on the same board, and you can see it's really rudimentally drawn together, but this makes it clear in my mind. We talked about gear and everything, but what about the people involved, right? Who is going to be acting in this thing? Because I can't shoot it and act in it. I have no budget, but what I do have is an eternal partner, right? So I have a wife, and she's willing to be in this video, and that's really exciting because I get to work with my best friend, and we get to be able to make a video together. Some of these videos are going to require multiple people. So it's good to have friends that owe you favors. And the way that your friends owe you favors is you do personal projects for them. You do things for them, they do things for you. And you don't just, ditch out on a project when they're like, hey, could you help out with this thing? If you can clear your schedule, clear it out and get over there and help them. That's the whole rising tide brings up all the boat, or whatever the fuck it is. Help out your friends and they'll do the same thing for you. And if they don't, then either something really important came up or maybe they're not the best friends. So just make sure that when you're asking for help, it's not take, take, take. It's give, 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 and then maybe ask. And if somebody's willing to do something for you, appreciate the shit out of them. This industry is small. And while it might seem big at times, people talk a lot. And it's really easy to get on the wrong side of a small group of people that turns into a large group of people. So giving that appreciation for the people who decide to jump in and join in your projects is such a big deal. So next goal that I have is to make this commercial for this company. So my next video is gonna be me gearing up and going out and shooting this thing. I'm definitely nervous to do this. I don't know how it's gonna work out. Like I said before, this is really a shot in the dark. But what are my alternatives? Really my alternative is to start working exclusively as an AC, turn down other work, and just make sure that I'm doing that, and then get a job here and there as a DP, but that seems slow. There goes my diffusion. That seems slow and ridiculous. So this seems like it's faster. And as a freelancer, there's always gonna be days that you're off, or you're just like, well, where's the next job coming from? I don't know. And it's really easy to get bogged down in just doing mundane shit that you don't actually need to do. So in the days that I have off where I'm still looking for work, instead of looking for work, I'm gonna be filming these commercials. So this is the first one up, and I hope you enjoy it. And I guess next week I'll have it up. God, that's crazy. I've been thinking about doing this for such a long time. I really have. I've been, you know, it's like, oh, that would kind of be cool to do, and that might be that, you know, oh, I would like that, and even talking to people and communicating my vision, and you know, maybe like 5 companies are like, oh, we don't want to buy this, we don't want to have anything to do with this, but it did kind of look cool, so can we shoot this other thing, and how's this as a budget and all? And if somebody says that and they have very little budget, then I'll shoot it on that very little budget, because this is me getting into this game as a DP. So as a content creator, I mean, that's really what this is, right? It's not even saying like, oh, I'm an owner operator, I'm a DP or whatever. It's kind of sacrilegious to say this in the commercial or in the professional film world, but this is something I've been saying since I shot my first feature documentary all by myself. And it's this: if nobody else is willing to make it and you need to see it get done, then you got to do it. You don't have a choice. And I thought that was always about art and about creating art and about creating a story and everything. But I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it can be just as much about finances. If you need to see something show up, if you are, you know, if it's tight and you have time off, I think it's ridiculous to not put all your effort into something, because otherwise, what are you doing? You're just gonna, what, rewatch a Netflix show or something like that? I've spent too much time doing that. So hopefully this is a better use of my time. I really think it will be, even if nothing comes from this. But I don't think I'm gonna put all this effort in and then find that nothing comes from this. So I'm really excited for this. I hope that you stick along. Subscribe, like, comment, tell me what an idiot you think I am for doing this. And I'll say, yeah, you're probably right. But this is just me documenting this series. Like I said, like when I started out, I don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, this could blow up in my face, but what does blow up in my face actually mean? It means that I went out into the woods and walked around the city with my best friend and took some video and then edited it together and then shopped it around to a couple places, and they said no. I mean, dude, if I can't fucking deal with that, then what am I doing here? This is art. That's what this is. And whether it's marketing or painting or race car driving or riding a bike or being out in the wilderness and engaging in a primal way, it's art. And so what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? I'm gonna waste my time in the woods? No time in the woods was ever wasted, in my opinion. Unless like, you died out there or something. If you have questions about anything that I'm not hitting on in this, let me know, because I would love to talk more about this and probably be able to figure out a lot of where my shortcomings are, which is a really good thing to do, because then I can get out ahead of that and I can figure out, okay, well, I wasn't planning for this or that, and now I need to do that. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm gonna be doing these weekly videos, or if these start rolling out a little bit faster, then I'll be doing them a little bit more recurring, but at least once a week, every Tuesday, dropping a video here. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and see ya later. When I walk out of frame, everybody knows I'm gonna hit stop record. Fucking idiot.